How would you like an extra $1,000 a month in income and not earned income, passive income from the dividends in your investment? What's it take to get there? I'll explain that more coming up. My name is Mike Bernard. I'm the host of the Wise Money Show. I'm also one of the certified financial planners right here at Korhorn Financial Group. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and smash that thumbs up button. There's earned income and then there's passive income. Earned income is paycheck money, right? It's you going to work, punching a clock, drawing a salary, that sort of thing, paycheck money. Passive income, though, is where you're not out there, punching a clock. This is investment income is another way to phrase it. The most popular form of passive income is real estate income. It's rental real estate. And that's an interesting term, passive, because I know a lot of folks out there that are landlords that love it, but it is a grind. It is hard work. And I also know that being a landlord or owning rental properties, it is not for everyone. It's very appealing, fantastic. I would own a rental and I would have tenants pay the mortgage and then pay me and would draw income. That would be fantastic. That could replace my income. Oh, I would love it. However, there's a lot of pieces that you might not love, right? Maintaining the home, the cost to repair it, the confrontation involved with dealing with tenants and sometimes being, strict and bearer of bad news. And so not everyone's cut out to be a landlord. Does that mean you're not cut out to have passive income? No, in fact, the original passive income was not rental income. That's really just over the past few decades. The original passive income was dividend income. That's right. You might remember this from your folks or grandparents buying a individual blue chip stock and collecting the dividends. These were the utility companies or AT&T or GE, right? Owning the stock, having the stock certificate and clipping the dividend every 6 months or so. And it provided a lot of income. So is that something you should do? Is that something you should aspire to? What would it take if you were to want to generate $1,000 a month of passive dividend income? What would it take? Well, it's a lot harder than it used to. It's going to take a lot more than it used to. Take a look at this chart. This is the average, this is the dividend yield of the S&P 500. So basically the sum total cumulative dividends of owning all of the S&P 500. You can see there was a marked change in the early 80s. Yeah, we were dealing with hyperinflation at that time, but it was also sort of the emerging of the tech sector, of the technology sector. And at that time, and really since then, if a business generates, and I've seen this illustration before, generates a king-size Snickers bar worth of profit or goodness or free cash flow, okay? That Snickers bar, if you break it down into two fund sizes, okay, half and half, and you give half out in a dividend and you keep the other half in the business for growth and for future opportunities, well, you might not have as much growth potential because you only have half that Snickers bar left within the company. Conversely, right, if you take that entire Snickers bar and leave it in the company, now you've got more cash for more growth opportunities, future acquisitions, share buybacks. There's a lot more upside potential of the company based on, keeping that full-size candy bar there within the company. So, silly analogy, but it's been less and less popular to pay out dividends and more popular for companies to keep that cash flow within the business for future growth, research and development, if you will, acquisitions, buying shares back, that sort of thing. And what it's led to, back to this chart, is a dividend yield of the S&P 500 that currently stands at the time of recording this about 1.28%. That is very near record lows, okay? And compare that to the average from, say, 1880 to 1980, those previous 100 years, where the average was somewhere around 4%. The average over the past, call it 2 decades, is between 1 and 2%. So it's going to take a lot more money invested for dividends for you to earn that $1,000 a month in passive dividend income. Doing rough math, you'd need to have about $1 million saved up at a 1.2% dividend yield to get to that $12,000 a year of dividend, or approximately $1,000 a month. That is a lot of investment just for a little bit of passive income. No wonder rental real estate is so popular. Here's a more realistic approach if you're looking for dividend income, passive income, either now or in retirement. A lot of companies, a lot of investment companies have a high dividend investment strategy. So Schwab has one, Fidelity has one. These are basically equity-based, stock-based ETFs or mutual funds that have a focus on high dividend. Well, each of them are paying over 3%, between 3 and 4%. That's while it's difficult, it's not uncommon to find a dividend stock ETF where you're diversified or mutual fund that is paying a dividend double that of the overall S&P 500 index, if not in the 3 to 4% range. Well, if you can find a high dividend fund at paying 3%, well, now in order to get your $1,000 a month of dividend income, you need $400,000 saved up. Now that's much more reasonable. If you can find a portfolio, we've got an equity income model, one that is designed for income, but it's also invested in equities, therefore there should be some appreciation as well. Thinking back to that Snickers bar, taking that full-size candy bar and putting 2 fund sizes there, yeah, you're getting a decent dividend, but there's also some growth potential there as well. Our equity income fund has a dividend yield of significantly higher than that 3 to 4%. But if you can find a 4% dividend yield, now you're at $300,000. $300,000 with a 4% dividend yield can get you that $1,000 a month of dividend income. You don't need to be a landlord. You don't need to have a rental real estate portfolio in order to get passive income. While that is likely the area that you're going to get the most bang for your buck, it's not for everyone and doesn't need to be for you if you're still looking to generate passive income. You could do so with equity dividends and equity income models and setting up passive income via dividend distributions. It's just unlikely that you're going to want to use just the S&P 500, looking instead at an equity, a high dividend equity income fund or a high dividend equity income model. Work with your certified financial planner on that. And really the big idea is that how you should structure your retirement portfolio, or during your career, should you be structuring your portfolio for that and reinvesting those dividends? Work with your certified financial planner on that. If you don't have a CFP on your team, you can contact one on my team. Find us online, Korhorn.com. That's Korhorn with a K. WiseMoneyShow.com. You can find us there as well, or send us an email, info@Korhorn.com. All right, there you have it. Go out and take your next wise step in your financial life.